Hello, everyone. I'm Bo from Brutal Commentary, and today I'm going to be breaking down our featured fight for UFC Mexico City. In this matchup, we have Daniel Zellhuber taking on Bobby King Green. And no, I refuse to call him King Green. I'm just going to go with Bobby Green. And this is one of those matchups where there are real pitfalls depending on who you're going to pick. Because stylistically, Bobby Green can make you look foolish if you underestimate him. But physically, Zellhuber presents problems that are hard to ignore in this matchup. And so this is very much a veteran craft versus youth and sort of a kicking offense, which I'll get more into it as I go with the breakdown. But that said, let's look at it, two fighters. Starting with Bobby Green. He's currently 33, 17, and 1 as a professional, 2 and 3 in his last 5 fights. In his latest fight, he got knocked out viciously by Jalen Turner about 2 years and 2 months ago. Then had a great win against Jim Miller at UFC 300. Then suffered a 2-fight skid where he got finished badly in both of those, getting submitted by Paddy Pimblett and then spinning wheel kick KO by Marcinho Hulfi last March. Now, in his last fight, last December, Green got a good win against Lance Gibson Jr., which was not a split decision. He clearly won the fight and did it in the most Bobby Green way possible. Frustrated Lance, picked him apart on the feet, and overall just taunted him relentlessly. Now, looking at Daniel Zellhuber, currently 15 and 3 as a professional, 3 and 2 in his last 5 fights. He was on a good 3-fight win streak, beating Lando Venata, submitted Christos Giagos, and then most recently in his last win, which was 2 years ago, defeated Francisco Prado. Since then, he's now on a 2-fight skid, losing to Esteban Ribovic in what I thought was fight of the year, in 2024, and then losing to Michael Johnson in a fight that was very much an upset, not just betting wise, but where both guys were at the time. Because Zellhuber is pretty young, 26. He has good upside potential, but he has definitely lost some matchups you would think he should have won. While Bobby Green, aging veteran, he's 39. He'll be, 40 in about 6 months. And he's been in the 2 for a long time. You saw the record, right? 33, 17, and 1. That's like over 50 fights. So yeah, definitely youth. Definitely youth versus experience. But with that out of the way, let's get down to the breakdown. Starting with Daniel Zellhuber. He's big for lightweight, very big. About 6'1" with a 77-inch reach. He's huge for the division. And has excellent and when Zellhuber's fighting at range, he's very effective. His boxing is solid. He's got good counters, he's got good 1-2s. But primarily, I would say his best strikes on the feet is, his kicking game. Because Zellhuber, he throws sharp body kicks, good head kicks, good teeps. And when he uses that length Zellhuber uses his length well when he's fighting, when he's comfortable at distance and where he can pick his opponents apart. Now, he hasn't leaned heavily on his grappling in the UFC. Now, he did get a submission win over Christos Giagos, but that was after he hurt Giagos, and Giagos went for an ill-advised takedown. But Zellhuber, he can wrestle. He does have submissions, as I said. And more importantly, he's pretty good at immediately getting back to his feet if taken down. And that matters against someone like Green, who, can mix up the wrestling, not by much, but just in case. The concern for Zellhuber, though, isn't physical tools. It's his composure under chaos. Specifically, against Michael Johnson, even at 39, you saw Zellhuber get very flustered by the hand speed of Johnson. And when Johnson disrupts his rhythm early, when Johnson disrupts Zellhuber's rhythm early, he looked very uncomfortable and had to settle down before finding his footing. So the way it is pretty simple. If Zellhuber is calm and has his rhythm, he's dangerous. If he gets emotional, and if he gets emotionally pulled into someone else's fight, he can look pretty shaky. And even against the war he had with Ribovic, that was mostly Ribovic's fight, as Ribovic likes to fight in those high-paced, high-level exchanges. Now, looking at Bobby Green, he's 39, and we know exactly what he is. Hands low, down to the hips, shoulder rolls, taunting, talking to his opponents, punches from odd angles, like I said, punches that are thrown at the hip, and very good at slipping shots and slipping and ripping, and oftentimes doing those very close slipping the punches just by a few inches. So when Green is in the flow, he's one of the most frustrating fighters in the division to deal with, even at 39. And as you saw, like I said, with Lance Gibson, he frustrated the younger fighter so much in that fight. Right? So for Green, his biggest weapon isn't power. He's not really known for being that devastating of a puncher. It's rhythm disruption. Green makes opponents uncomfortable, he makes them hesitant, and he draws them into exchanges where they're unsure of the timing. And when Green is sharp, his head movement and his counter punching are elite and very hard to and very difficult to read. He also, like I said, has underrated wrestling. He just chooses not to use it, but he can use it at times. It's shown to be effective. If the issue now is age, though, like I said, Green is 39. His reflexes are not what they used to be. His chin certainly isn't what it used to be. And in recent losses, you've seen, like the 3 losses I've told you, he has been finished badly in those fights. In fact, his last decision loss was to Rafael Fiziev years ago at UFC 265. So, and that matters against someone whose kicks, and that matters when you're fighting someone who kicks high and carries the length to possibly finish you from a distance. Now, just looking at the stylistic clash, this fight likely plays out at range early. So Huber wants space, he wants to kick, he wants to box at long range. Green wants to make it uncomfortable, he wants to step just inside range, talk and frustrate and draw reactions out of Zellhuber. Here's the key question. Can Green fluster Zellhuber like Michael Johnson did? Well, the thing is, Michael Johnson had very good hand speed. And you could see Zellhuber was quite surprised by the speed and power Johnson still held. Green doesn't have that kind of power to him. But he can certainly disrupt Zellhuber in a different way, just by taunting him, just by making Zellhuber miss, by getting in his face, just by doing those little things he does, like, come on, touch me, you can't. Those types of things, I could see disrupting Zellhuber's rhythm early and making this a competitive fight. But if Zellhuber stays disciplined and composed, using kicks to the body, mixing levels, and not overcommitting in boxing exchanges, he has the clear physical advantages in this fight. Plus, head kicks, I see a big one in this fight. Like I said, Green's hands are often low and he likes to dip his head and use his defense as head movement as his defense. And it works brilliantly in his prime. But at 33 against a taller, longer striker, especially someone who I can see throwing a lot of body kicks, Bobby Green's way, and eventually possibly catching him with a head kick, all it takes is one mistimed head movement or one mistimed lean for it all end pretty quickly. Now, looking at the intangibles, age is the biggest factor here. Like I said, Green is 39. He's taking a lot of damage, dude. And he's been knocked out pretty badly. Zellhuber is still young. He's still improving. And he's in his physical, and he may not be in his physical prime, but he's certainly close to it. And now, of course, that doesn't automatically mean he wins. But over 3 rounds, youth plus reach plus kicking offense is a difficult combination for someone who's a counter striker, but one who also relies a lot on head movement. And while Green absolutely has a path, if he frustrates Zellhuber, makes him emotional, and drags him into boxing exchanges and takes away the kicks, he can win the rounds. But if Zellhuber stays disciplined, this becomes a battle at range, and that favors him greatly. So, just looking at the final assessment, this is dangerous, right? Bobby Green can still outclass people technically if they fight his fight. But when I weigh the size, reach, kicking offense, and the age related to durability concerns, I lean towards the younger, longer striker. So I'm going to pick Daniel Zellhuber in this fight. I think he's going to fight smart, keep it technical. It doesn't get baited into an ego exchange with Bobby Green and find his shots when the openings present himself. And against a 39-year-old with a declining chin, I just can't pick him. So once again, I'm going to pick Daniel Zellhuber. I actually think he can get a knockout in this fight. I definitely see him throwing a lot of body kicks and forcing Green to defend those with his hands, and then eventually come up top and land a clean head kick on Bobby Green. So once again, I'm picking Daniel Zellhuber, and I'm going to pick him via knockout in this fight. But with that being said, that's been my breakdown to this fight. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below on who you think is going to win. But until then, I've been Bo from Brutal Commentary. I thank you all for listening. Remember, stay calm, stay respectful, and enjoy the violence. I'll see y'all next time.